Gotta make sure I'm in focus. All right, let's do this. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Cosplay Storytime. Been a little while since I've done one of these because honestly, I'm running out of Cosplay Storytimes because there haven't been any cons happening for 2 years. So, nothing going on here. But today I thought I'd throw things back to an older cosplay story that I have that I thought would be kind of interesting because there is some tea to spill here today with this story, so let's get into it. So today's Cosplay Storytime is about my most controversial cosplay photo. What could it be? So the cosplay photo in question was taken back in 2012. So I was very small, very young, very fresh-faced cosplayer. This was back when I was really into Ace Attorney and I was gonna cosplay Maya Fey from Ace Attorney. So for this cosplay, I needed this long black wig and it had come in the mail, and back then, like these days, when I get a new wig, it's not as big of a deal because I have a million wigs and I have my own money, so I can buy as many wigs as I want, and it's totally not an issue. But back then, when I was a teenager and I didn't have my own money, my mom would buy me all my new cosplay wigs, and she'd only buy it if we really needed it. So I had to be very selective about my cosplays because we had to do cosplays that I could use my real hair with, or I could use existing wigs with. So when it was time to finally buy a completely new wig, it was a big event. So I got this long black wig and I decided to do as much as I possibly could with it because obviously, like I just said, I didn't get new wigs very often. So I, at that point, was watching the anime K-On! And I was really enjoying it. I'm not really big into slice of life anime, so I wasn't super hardcore into it, but I was enjoying it. So since I had this long black wig, it wasn't a Hime cut, but it was close enough to Mio's hair that I thought that, hey, I could cosplay her. So to do this cosplay, I just took a whole bunch of stuff that I had in my cosplay closet already. So I had a white button up from my Rukia cosplay, I had the skirt from my Rukia cosplay, I had the sweater vest from my Maka cosplay, and then I had black knee-high socks again from my Rukia cosplay. Because apparently once you've cosplayed one schoolgirl, you've cosplayed them all. So the only thing that I needed was the little blue tie, and I just made that myself really quickly, and I suddenly had this instant Mio cosplay. So I was very excited about this, and I remember one day a friend of mine was coming over and we were hanging out, and I was just out of nowhere hey, could you maybe take some photos of this Mio cosplay that I've just slapped together? And they were like, yeah, totally, I'll totally do that. So we had this really fun day where we just went around different parts of my room and took photos, and I played the guitar at that point, so I posed next to my guitar and pretended it was a bass. And then the other thing that we did, which I thought looked really cool, at that point I also played the violin, and I had a bunch of my violin music just hanging out there. And so I thought, what if we lay all of the music on the floor and then I lay down in it, and so I had all these sheets of music around my head, right? And so here's the resulting shot. I think it looks really nice. And obviously Mio plays bass in the anime, but we didn't have any bass music, we just had violin music. But I was whatever, it's just in the background of the cosplay photo. It's not a huge issue, right? It just is what it is. We're just doing this for fun, we're just doing this on a whim. It doesn't really matter that's not bass music, but we'll just roll with it regardless. Little did I know this would become an issue. So you guys probably know where this is going. So I posted that photo online. I posted it on DeviantArt because that was the main social media for cosplayers back in the day, and everybody really liked it. And actually one of my friends was like, hey, I noticed that that's violin music. Do you play the violin? I'm like, yeah, I play the violin. Good eye, right? But nobody else noticed that that was violin music, as they shouldn't, because it's just such an inconsequential part of this photo, right? Little did I know that would not be the case. So 2 or 3 years go by. At this point, it's 2014, I believe. And I had a website at that point. I still have a website now, but it's a lot different than it used to be. So my website used to be kind of an archive of all of my cosplays. I had different pages where I would archive each of my cosplays, and I'd have a write-up about the construction process of each of my cosplays, the year it was debuted, and a whole bunch of pictures of each of the cosplays. I don't do that anymore because there's a lot of work having to keep that up. So now I just post my photos on social media and hope for the best. But back then I had an actual website where everything was archived. And one day I get a comment on the Mio page of my website. So this is a page that obviously has the little like write-up of my Mio cosplay. It even says what year it was made, and it has all of the photos, including the photo where I'm lying in the sheet music. And I get this comment from this person that says, couldn't you have at least found some free bass music to use? Which in and of itself is a brilliant suggestion, all right? That's not even something that I had considered, that you can just go online and use like free bass music for this photo, right? Like I was thinking if I needed bass music, I'd have to go and buy the bass music, and then I'd have to like rip it up and just use it for this photo, which obviously as a teenager with no money, that wouldn't be possible. And it would also be like a huge waste because, you know, it would just go in the trash after, right? Like we'd just use it for that photo and then we'd throw it away, right? Because I don't play bass. So the fact this person was like, hey, couldn't you use like free bass music? Because like, yeah, you can go online and get free bass music. Not something I had considered back in 2012, right? The thing about this comment though, there are two issues with this comment. The first thing is that what they're saying, while helpful, is not being phrased in a constructive way at all whatsoever. Like it's being phrased as an insult, like, couldn't you have at least done this? Right? Very rude way of saying that, right? If they had said like, hey, you know, you can get free bass music off the internet if you want to do this cosplay again, like that would have been totally fine, right? But they didn't phrase it like that. They phrased it like they were insulting me, basically. The second thing about this comment is that it was 2 years too late. Like I was not going to do that cosplay again. That cosplay was done. It was in the past. It was very much in the past, and it said that on the website. It said what year the cosplay was made. Like, we're not going back in time and printing out free bass music just to like do that photo again, right? Like, we're done. So, feeling sassy because this person was being, you know, rude, I decided to write back, couldn't you at least keep the negativity to yourself? And I sent that comment and I thought I was done. I was like, nice. Clapped back at the haters, feeling good about it. No. What proceeds to happen is, I guess that person went to their friends or their followers or both and told them what I had said to them, and brought this huge group of angry people back to my website to then tell me how awful of a cosplayer I was. So I get all of these comments being like, hey, this person's just trying to help. Can't you at least take criticism? If you don't understand that Mio plays bass, I guess you're not that good of a cosplayer. Basically telling me like, you're not a good cosplayer because you don't understand that Mio plays bass. You can't take criticism. You're a terrible cosplayer. I'm not gonna dig up these comments because I don't wanna like dive back into that negativity. I don't want to like dig them up and just like bring that back. But basically that's the gist of what these people were saying, commenting like hateful things on my website, being like, you're a terrible cosplayer, you don't understand that Mio plays bass, blah, 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 blah. Which was fun to receive. So I decided to do the whole kill them with kindness tactic, and I wrote back and I said like, hey, just because I didn't have any bass sheet music on hand doesn't mean that I still didn't have a great time cosplaying Mio. You know, cosplay is all about having fun. It doesn't matter like how you do it. Being 100%, you know, completely accurate doesn't matter. What really matters is having fun. And then I stuck a smiley face at the end of it and called it a day. And most people did not reply to me, but one person did. And they said, well, it's not fun for us having to see your dumbass cosplays. And at that point, I decided it was no longer worth my time, and I just left the whole thing and was done with it. What's mind-boggling to me is that these people are telling me that I'm not a good cosplayer because I don't understand that Mio plays bass. I understand perfectly that Mio plays bass. Like, it's not hard to understand that. I just didn't have bass music to use. And also, them hating on me, like this thing that they're hating on me for, is not even part of the actual cosplay itself. Like the cosplay itself, nobody said anything about like the construction of it or like the accuracy of it or whatever. They were just focused on this one thing that was in the background of this photo. And that's what they were harping on. And here's the thing. I don't really know what the protocol for lying in music is, but I'm pretty sure you can lie in other people's sheet music if you want to. So maybe she's just lying in somebody else's music. Maybe it's not even her own. Like, it could be any music. if you love music, you love music. So you can lie in any kind of music that you want. It doesn't have to be your own sheet music. It can be somebody else's, right? The lore, they don't understand the lore behind this photo. The lore could be anything. Anyway, so that is the story of my most controversial cosplay photo. To this day, that has been my most controversial cosplay photo because I did not use bass music in the background of that photo. Shame on me. How could I? Moral of the story is, people on the internet are crazy. They will harp on anything, and best thing to do is just to not let it bother you and just move on with your life, which is exactly what I've done. But I'm telling the story now because I thought it would make you guys laugh, and also I want to profit off of it, so here we are. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If this kind of thing has happened to you, please let me know. I would love to hear your own stories in the comments. If you are new here and you'd like to see more videos like this, I put out new videos every Sunday and it'd be awesome to have you here, so feel free to subscribe. As always, thanks for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys all next time. But until then, Panda Faces, please be sure to take care. Bye!